Ladies and gentlemen, in a global news that feels like a group project gone horribly wrong, the United States and Rwanda just struck a deal for Rwanda to accept up to 250 migrants deported from the United States. Yeah, that's right. America is outsourcing deportation the way your uncle outsources child support. According to officials, this is all part of Trump administration's hardline immigration policy. Or as Trump calls it,
we will make America great again.
Yeah, for white people again. Look, I don't want to say this deal is shady, but when a superpower starts offloading immigrants like Sudan being filed in a recycle bin, and the recipient's like, sure, bring them. You have to wonder, what is Rwanda getting in return? A thank you card? Some MAGA hats? Or a free month of Netflix? Now, I checked the numbers. 250 migrants isn't a lot for a country, but it's too much when you're not the one causing the problem. Rwanda just wanted to be known for gorillas and post-genocide development. The next thing you know, they're the Airbnb for American deportees.
Welcome to Kigali, you and your deportation trauma. We promise we'll never kick you out like Trump kicked you out of America, and he will never arrest you. So please, enjoy responsibly.
Honestly, Rwanda's government says this was a gesture of global solidarity, which is cute until you realize this was a diplomatic version of your friend saying, sure, you can crash on my couch. The next thing you know, 250 people living there with their shoes on. But here is the kicker. The migrants being deported, many of them are from Latin America. So you're telling me the US cannot send them home, but can send them to Africa? This is like getting kicked out of your school in Mexico and then being forced to attend boarding school in Uganda. What kind of immigration math is this? Is this Google Maps routing deportation now? Look, Rwanda is just trying to be a good sport here, but let's not pretend this is fair. This is like your neighbor throwing garbage over your fence and then saying, we are in this together. And honestly, if the US keeps deporting migrants to random countries, what next? Canada ships theirs to Namibia, the UK sends theirs to Botswana, and suddenly Africa is lost and found of Western immigration policy. So here is the deal. The US is playing hot potato with the human beings, and Rwanda just caught it. Now let's hope those 250 migrants land safely, get treated with dignity, and don't get robbed into a really so-called Survivor Kigali edition. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Let's Feed Africa with Gilbert Drapari, where the only thing shorter than the Nigerian government promise is the memory of it. And now in actual news that sounds like a miracle, nurses in Nigeria's public hospitals have suspended their 7-day warning strike. Yeah, they said government has finally responded to their demands with a clear timeline for implementation. Clear timeline for implementation? In Nigeria? I haven't seen fiction that good since Nollywood dropped living in bondage. You know, it's serious when nurses go on strike. Nurses are like African mothers with diplomas. Tough, tired, and somehow still patient with all your nonsense. Yeah, but after that 7 days of not dealing with the patients, needles, and power outages, they came back and said, okay, the government has promised and we are watching. Yeah, so because when the government says we promise, that's a code for, oh, well, we go try your small, no vex. But let's give credit to where it's due. The National Association of Nigeria's Nurses and Midwives released a very professional statement. They said they're suspending the strikes because the government provided memorandum of understanding with the clear timelines. Which basically means someone in Abuja finally located the reply all button. Let me tell you, Nigeria's civil service is slow. If you email a ministry today, they will reply when your first child starts NYSC. You know what I really respect though? These nurses went on strike, made noise, and got the results. Meanwhile, some of us complain about our jobs, but still keep suffering in silence like some Nigerian husbands during football season. But seriously though, these are the real MVPs. They work in hospitals with no AC, no gloves, no electricity, and sometimes no salaries, and still they show up every day like, next person! So if anyone deserves an award in this country, it's not politicians flying private jets. It's nurses dodging generators while checking blood pressure. And to government, congrats, you finally did something right, at least on the paper. But you know Nigerians are now trained in government promise survival tactics. And we know that clear timeline can mean anything from next week to next republic. Yeah. So let's hope this MOU is not just memorandum of uselessness, because if they try to ghost these nurses again, wahala go wear uniform and carry stethoscope. We are watching government. The nurses are watching, and most importantly, the late feed is watching too. And now Sudan, where things have gone from bad to bilingual. Yes, Sudan is now accusing the United Arab Emirates of sending the Colombian mercenaries to fight alongside the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces. That's right, the UAE allegedly brought in soldiers from Colombia to fight in Sudan. Because when you're planning a civil war, apparently it's not enough to have local blood shed. You've got to outsource it. Yeah, like a cell sender. Yeah, this war just turned into United Nations of chaos.
In a statement issued on Monday, the Sudanese government said that it has irrefutable evidence confirming mercenaries from Colombia and some neighboring African countries who are sponsored and financed by Immigrati authorities.
I mean, imagine being a Colombian soldier thinking you signed up for jungle warfare only to wake up in Khartoum like, where the hell are the bananas? And these Colombian mercenaries, they must be so confused. They were probably trained to fight dry cartels, but now they are dodging bullets in sandstorm, being yelled at in Arabic, paid in dirham, and fighting for Sudanese faction they can't even spell. Excuse me, who are we shooting again? Do they have coffee? Meanwhile, the UAE, the Las Vegas of Middle East, denied everything.
The UAE Foreign Affairs Ministry later responded, rejecting the allegations and denying involvement in the war by backing armed groups.
Of course. They're like, Colombian mercenaries? Us? Oh, please, we all import influencers and luxury cars. Come on. Honestly, it's kind of wild. The UAE is so rich, they don't even send their own people to wars anymore. They're like, wars? They're so last season. Let's hire someone else to die for us. You know how football clubs do player transfers? Yeah, apparently the UAE does war transfers now. And now when in the Sudanese battlefield on land from Medellin, El Sniper Pablo Rodriguez! This whole thing is messy. On one side you've got the Sudanese military, on the other you've got the Rapid Support Forces, and now joining in a special guest from Latin America. I swear if this war gets any more international, it's going to need subtitles and a Netflix deal. But seriously, foreign mercenaries in African civil war? Where have we had this before? Sierra Leone? Liberia? Congo? It's like history keeps repeating itself, just with better Wi-Fi and worse PR. And let's not forget the people who are actually suffering, the Sudanese civilians. They didn't ask for any of this. All they wanted was bread, peace, and maybe electricity once in a while. Instead, all they get is drones in the sky, bullets in the street, and imported violence with the side of empanadas. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the next war report says fighting has intensified in Omdurman as the newly arrived ninjas from Japan just joined RSF. Because why not? Let's turn this into muscle combat Khartoum edition. So to recap, Sudan is in the middle of brutal civil war. The UAE is accused of being the rich friend who fights but never gets their hands dirty. And Colombia just got dragged into the middle of it without probably even knowing which Sudanese faction they are on. Honestly, at this point, we don't need a peace deal. We need a casting director because this role has got more international chemos than a Fast and Furious movie. Africa deserves better. Sudan deserves better. But until then, if you're a soldier in Sudan and someone walks up to you and saying, "Don't I still Aguere?" just know things have gotten very out of hand. And that is the news from the sand dunes, the oil barons, and the borrowed bullets. Stick around after the break. We talk to a Nigerian chef who swears that jollof rice can end a war. Honestly, at this point, it's worth a try. I'm Gilbert Drapari. This is the Let's Feed Africa. And please don't forget to subscribe. As always, thank you for watching.